Hi guys, my name is Marie. If you're new to my channel, I'm a personal trainer and I post new videos every week. So this video is gonna be a little different. I fractured my elbow last week. Boba and her puppy friend were running around, did not see them, and lost my balance and fell and fractured my elbow. But no need to worry. I think I just have to wear the splint for a little bit. There's no need for surgery, which is great. Unfortunately, I cannot really post as many workout videos as I'd like to, so feel free to check out my workout and stretch videos that I have on my channel in the meantime while I rest and recover. So for this video, I want to talk about body composition. So I'm sure we've all been there where we've stepped on the scale and felt defeated, even though we've been crushing our workouts, making tons of progress, gaining muscle, getting more toned, and maybe the number on the scale is going up, it's plateauing, it's not where you want it to be. Well, the number on the scale is just a number. It doesn't define your worth, it doesn't define your value at all. It's literally just telling us how gravity is acting on our bodies. It doesn't tell us what you're made of and whatnot. So I think it's important to focus on body composition and how you look and feel versus the number on the scale, because it doesn't tell us the full story. So first and foremost, muscle weighs more than fat. So in 2013, I had started, really getting into exercising, but I was always small. Like I didn't have tons of body fat, but I also didn't have a lot of muscle mass either. So one of my goals was to get stronger, gain muscle mass, because of course I wanted to be toned, I wanted a nice butt and abs, all that. So I started focusing on strength training. And so in 2013, I think I was around 100 and 105 pounds, right? 100, 105. And then now fast forward to 2025, I'm around like 130, 135. So that's a 30-pound difference. And between the two, 2013, I just looked, slim. And then in 2025, definitely have more of the definition, tone, strength, and everything that I wanted, despite the 30-pound increase. So again, muscle weighs more than fat, and how it looks on your body is going to be very different than what the scale says. So our weight can fluctuate every single day. If you've had a lot of sodium the night before, it can cause you to retain quite a bit of water. If you're a woman who's on her cycle, because of the hormonal fluctuations, you can also retain quite a bit of water. So again, like one day you could be your ideal weight, the next day you could be, 3 to 5 pounds heavier. So the scale is not the most accurate way to measure progress in body composition or physique. Again, it's just telling us how gravity is working on our bodies. So what I love to do with clients is to have progress pictures, because it can show before and after. And even though maybe their weight has stayed the same or it's increased, their bodies can look completely different because they've gained more muscle mass, which is gonna weigh more on the scale, and they may have decreased in body fat mass. So before and after pictures are great. As you can see in 2013 me and 2025 me, I look completely different. I definitely look stronger, more fit in 2025 than I did in 2020 or 2013. You can also do circumference measurements. Just get some measuring tape. You could do your arms, you could do your waist, your thighs, your butt, just different parts of your body. You can see, oh, like my arms have gotten like a little smaller, or, just see how your measurements change can also show that your physique is changing. If you want to be really scientific about it, you can also do a DEXA scan, you could do bod pod, which is air displacement, or you could do water displacement, where they will dunk you into a tank of water after you exhale all your air and then measure water displacement to see your body fat percentages. I have done a DEXA scan, which is pretty cool because you just lie there and it just scans you. It will also come out with your bone density, muscle mass, and body fat mass. I have also done a bod pod back in college. It's a little egg-shaped chamber. You sit inside and it measures air displacement. The only thing I would say with the water displacement and air displacement is that if you're claustrophobic, the bod pod may not be the best way to measure. And then again, if you're like kind of afraid of water or uncomfortable exhaling all your air while being dunked in a pool, that may not be so great either. So you could do progress pictures, which super easy, do front, side, back. DEXA scan is probably like the easier one because you just lie there and it just scans you for like 7 minutes. Another great one is, again, circumference measurements and how your clothes fit. So maybe there's a shirt or pants or something that you haven't worn in a while and now they suddenly fit. And despite the scale saying that you're heavier, your clothes fit better. So I like going by multiple forms of tracking progress versus just a scale, because it's not the most consistent and the most accurate way. I think another great way to track your progress is your workout performance. So maybe you're running longer, you're running faster, you can lift heavier, your form is better. You don't feel so winded in your workouts, like you feel more energized after your workouts, or maybe you don't feel as sore anymore. I think that's a great way to track progress and have a more comprehensive view of, you know, how well you're doing. So on top of like the before and after pictures or progress pictures, maybe you want to do a measurement of some sort, and your workout performance. I think that gives you a better idea of how well you're doing and how healthy and fit you are versus the number on the scale. And going back to your looks and how you feel. So if you like how you look in the mirror and how your clothes are fitting, then why stress over a number? So that's why I love progress pics and just, you know, looking at how your body has changed. So for my before and after, definitely have more tone, more muscle, and in terms of my performance, I can definitely lift a lot heavier, so I'm stronger. I can do cardio for longer and not feel so winded. I love feeling strong and capable, and it makes me feel so empowered when I lift. So I focus more on my performance and how I look and feel versus how light I am. And I encourage my clients to do that too. And I understand the scale is so hard to shake off, because I think, you know, when we go to the doctor's office, you're on a scale. When we were in PE, they probably had you go on a scale, maybe do BMI, same thing in the doctor's office. And with the body mass index, it's not the most accurate because it's just telling us weight and your height. It's not telling me what you're made of. So it's not telling me your muscle mass, your body fat mass, or your bone density, anything like that. So really just your weight and height. And so some people can be considered overweight according to the BMI just because, you know, maybe they have tons of muscle mass, and so obviously that weighs more, and so they end up weighing more and unfortunately being in the overweight category. And sometimes it could be like football players or any sport that requires quite a bit of muscle mass. So that's why I like to shift over to performance, how I look, how I feel versus the number on the scale. And again, I know it is so hard to shake. I'm not saying break up with it. I'm just saying I just want to encourage you guys to do other forms of progress tracking, because I think it's important to have the full picture. And unfortunately, the scale does not do that. It does not give us the full picture. So even for me, I will weigh myself from time to time. And if you are going to weigh yourself, try to do it weekly. Don't do it so much every day, because I don't know if you're like this too, but sometimes I can be a little obsessive, and that doesn't help because your weight can fluctuate so much. I've tested it one time where I weighed myself every day for a week, and I think I fluctuated anywhere from like 1 to 5 pounds, just depending on what I'm doing. Like I had gone out to eat one night, and then the other day I ate really well, or one day I didn't drink enough water. So it was all over the place. So if you are going to weigh yourself, do it once a week. Do it first thing in the morning after you go to the bathroom, and then step on the scale, and then you'll get a more accurate, you know, number. If you are going to weigh yourself, I would say also pair it with one of the other metrics. So maybe circumference or progress pictures. I think progress pictures are probably the most fun because you can actually visually see yourself change. Overall, the scale is just a tool, and it is not the most accurate one. It does have quite a bit of flaws. So not saying you have to break up with it completely, but keep an open mind and have other forms of progress, because you're doing great. I think we don't give ourselves enough credit, and we've been taught to use the scale so much that we can't help but think, okay, the scale is telling me the progress I'm actually making in my workouts. And unfortunately, sometimes the scale is used to maybe determine our worth. And I just want to remind you guys that the scale is just a number. It doesn't tell you how awesome you are, how strong you are, how healthy you are, any of that. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and comment your non-scale victory in the comments below. I would say my non-scale victory recently would be I PR'd in a lot of my lifts, so I was able to lift heavier, you know, prior to this elbow injury. So anyway, this is gonna be for a different video. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys are interested in training with me, I do in-person and virtual training. I also create customized online training programs, so email me if you're interested. If you'd like to collab, you can also email me. And lastly, I have a newsletter, so if you want to stay up to date with all things Move with Marie, you can click the link in the description below and be added to my mailing list. Thank you guys for being very understanding of my fracture, and I will be back with my workout videos soon, but in the meantime, you can always check out my other videos on my channel. Anyway, until next time, bye!